Hello everyone, you are welcome to Good Success in English. This is Benjamin here, and in today's video we shall be talking about the 3 secrets of mastering English stress. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are interested in being notified whenever a new video is uploaded. In this channel we are learning English together, and we are also discussing other topics of interest to humanity. So let's get started with today's video, 3 secrets of mastering English stress. And we have 3 basic factors that determine stress in English language. The first is word class, which in traditional grammatical theory is called parts of speech. Then the second is syllables. The third is affixes that can be sub-classified as prefixes and suffixes. So we shall be looking at how these determine stress placement in English. Now, the starting point of this lesson should be to find out what exactly is stress. For those who are ignorant of what English stress is all about, stress can be defined as the extra force used when pronouncing a word or syllable. And by the way, a syllable is part of a word, and we shall demonstrate this. But let's look at let's have a clear board so that we will be able to illustrate the things that we say. Let's give example with the word import. When we are looking at the word import, of course, we know that this word is made up of 2 syllables, im and port. And then stress is placed on one of these syllables. And then if the word is used as a noun, the stress will be on the first syllable when we use it as a noun. And if we use it as a verb, the stress will be on the second syllable. So let's look at it. So that's exactly the way it is. And so import, that is a noun. If we are talking of Nigeria's import from Europe, Nigeria's import from Europe, it has increased in recent time. We are using this word as a noun, and so we stress the first syllable. If we are talking of the action, Nigeria imports electronic gadgets from China, we are using this as a verb, and stress is on the second syllable. So that is exactly. But here we are looking at what stress is actually all about. You can see that the syllable that is stressed in an English word, first of all, it is prominently articulated, it is given prominence. Secondly, it sounds louder, or if it is more than 2 syllables, it sounds the loudest. Now, the third thing you should know about the stressed syllable is that it lasts longer. The duration, is longer. So that's exactly what stress is about. And I want you to know that stress is very important in English speech, because if you are ignorant of English stress, when you speak, of course you sound unintelligible to other speakers of the language. But so you should learn the stress of English language. If you are a second language user of English, you need to master the stress of English language so that when you speak, you will place stress correctly. because stress is important in conveying the correct meaning in English speech. So that's exactly the way it is. Now let's look at how the three basic factors affect stress. The first one is word class. Now, how does the word class of an English word or the part of speech affect the stress? We have already given example with import, import, and we said that if it is a noun, stress will be on the first syllable if it is a noun, and if it is a verb, stress will be on the second syllable. So from this example, we can say that most most two-syllable English nouns are stressed on the first syllable. As a rule of stress, most two-syllable English words English nouns are stressed on the first syllable, and most two-syllable English verbs are stressed on the second syllable. That is exactly quite true, and that is one way in which the word class determines stress. So we can talk of import, import. We can give other examples, and let's look at a situation where we have noun and we have verb, so we can look at it like this. And so when we have also a word like export, object, project, and so on and so forth. Now we can go ahead with other other English words, bisyllabic English words. When it is a noun, export. When it is a verb, export. When it is a noun, object. When it is a verb, object. When it is a noun, project. When it is a verb, project. When it is a noun, convict. When it is a verb, convict. When it is a noun, produce. When it is a verb, produce. When it is a noun, present. When it is a verb, present. And so on and so forth. So word class determines stress. And then we can also look at other word classes. So in this case, we have stated a rule here that when an English word is used as a noun and also as a verb, stress the first syllable when it is used as a noun and stress the second syllable when it is used as a verb. Now let's look at other word classes. Let's look at other word classes, such as, of course, when we have a noun and when we have an adjective. Now, when a word is used as a noun and also as an adjective, then we have to stress the first syllable when that same word is used as a noun and stress the second syllable when that same word is used as an adjective. Let's give example with the word August. Then let's look at the word now let's look at these two words. When we are using the word August as a noun, such as the month of August, the stress is on the first syllable, and so we pronounce it as august. But when it's used as an adjective, it is august, such as when we are talking of an august visitor or an august occasion. Now, the same thing with, an adult. We say someone is an adult, or we say is an adult human being, or an adult male human being is called a man. But an adult female human being is called a woman. Now, the same rule applies. Now, let's also look at a situation where we have the same word used as, when we have the same word used as an adjective and also used as a verb, such as the word present. Sorry, it's only the first syllable that ought to be. Then we have present, and then we have also the word absent, and we have the word absent. Then we can have the word frequent, and we have the word frequent. So when we look at this, an English word is used as an adjective and also used as a verb, such as present. Present. If you say someone is present in class, you are using the word as an adjective, and the stress is on the first syllable, present. Or you are saying someone is going to present a paper. That is a verb. The stress is on the second syllable. If you say someone is absent from the seminar, he was absent from the seminar, that is an adjective. Or you say he absents himself he usually absents himself from our seminars. That is a verb, and stress is on the second syllable. Now, frequent. If something is frequent, it occurs most of the time. Or you can say he frequents the bar. That is a verb, and the stress is on the second syllable. Now, so far about how word class affects stress. Now, let's look at the second factor that determines stress. The second factor that determines stress, and then we are looking at syllables. Now, how do syllables affect stress? First of all, what is a syllable? A syllable is a unit of pronunciation. Already we explained it when we talked about import having two syllables. The first syllable, the second syllable, and then one of the syllables is stressed. Now, when we look at syllables, how do syllables determine stress? We can classify English words into three according to the number of syllables they contain. And in this case, let's talk about the first is monosyllabic words. Monosyllabic words are words that contain only one syllable. Then the second one is bisyllabic words, and they contain two syllables. The third one is polysyllabic words, and they are words that contain three or more syllables. So that is exactly. Now, how does monosyllabic words, how do we place stress in monosyllabic words? Now again, monosyllabic words can be divided into two: lexical words and functional words. Lexical words are nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. These are the key words that carry meaning in English, and when we speak, we stress them in our English speech. The functional words are words like articles, auxiliaries, then pronouns, prepositions, and conjunctions. These are functional words, and so when we speak in our English speech, we stress the lexical words and we unstress the functional words, and that is what gives English the rhythm. Now let's look at one particular example. If you say, for instance, Rose Okay, now let's look at this. Okay, let's look at the way we speak. Look at this sentence. Rose is a noun, so it's stressed in our English speech. Is an auxiliary, is not stressed. A is an article, is not stressed. Girl is a noun, is stressed. And is a conjunction, is not stressed. She is a pronoun, is not stressed. Comes is a verb, is stressed. From is a conjunction, is not stressed. England is a noun, it is a bisyllabic word. So of course, because it's a bisyllabic noun and it is stressed on the first syllable, England, not England. So that also tallies with the rule we stated earlier when we said that most bisyllabic English nouns are stressed on the first syllable. The word England, England, not England. Now, so that's exactly the way it is. Now, when we speak like this, Rose is a girl and she comes from England. I mean, in connected speech, we make this one is faster, and this is given prominence. So that's exactly in English sentence. When we speak in sentences, and when we speak in sentences, we stress the lexical words in the sentence, and we unstress the functional words in the sentence. And that makes English sound musical. It's not monotonous. So that's exactly the way the monosyllabic words are handled. And so that is one way in which syllables affect stress. So now let's look at the bisyllabic words. Already we have dealt with that when we were talking about how word class affects the placement of stress. We said that when a word a bisyllabic word, you know, a word of 2 syllables, is used as a noun and also as a verb. Of course, it's stressed on the first syllable if a noun, stressed on the second syllable if a verb. So basically, that is the rule that applies to bisyllabic words. There is another rule that applies to a bisyllabic word, such as if a bisyllabic word begins with a prefix, stress the second syllable. If it does not begin with a prefix, stress the first syllable. In most cases, it's like that, you know. So, because when we are looking at this place, I will also explain to you further the issue of prefixes when we are talking about, you know, when we begin to talk about affixes. Again, then we are looking at polysyllabic words. Polysyllabic words are words of 3 or more syllables, and the stress in polysyllabic words is determined by affixes, which is basically suffixes and in some cases prefixes. So syllable affects stress. There is also another way in which syllable affects stress, and that has to do with the sound quality of each syllable determines where stress is placed. Let me give you an example. When you have the word divine, let me put it here, the word divine, you can see that if we transcribe it, it is like this. So divine, what happens here is that this first syllable contains a single sound, which we call a monotone. It contains a monotone. A monotone is a vowel sound that consists of one vowel quality, and this is also a short vowel, which in most cases is lesser in sound quality than other vowel sound. But here we have a double sound, you know, which is greater in quality than this particular one, and so stress is placed here. And when we have to pronounce this will be divine, not divine. It is divine. That is how, you know, the quality of sound in a particular syllable determines stress. Because here we have 2 syllables, and one is weaker in sound, the other one is stronger. It contains a stronger vowel sound. So stress is placed on that particular syllable that contains a stronger vowel sound. That's exactly how syllables also affect stress. Not only the number of syllables that determine stress, but also the quality of sound that each syllable contains. Now let's look at the third factor that determines stress. The third factor that determines stress is affixes. And then we can subdivide affixes into prefixes and suffixes. Prefixes, a prefix is a letter or letters that are fixed or added to the beginning of a word to form a new word. Now, take the word no. Look at the word no as a root word. So here we add at the beginning and we add at the end known. So this one is a prefix while the end is a suffix. That's the way words are formed. In morphology, which is the science of word formation, it is the addition of prefixes and suffixes to form new words. That's how new words are formed in English. And in stress placement, prefixes are almost always unstressed. So that's the way it is. So when we have an known, this an is unstressed. You see, so that's how prefixes also affect stress. When we have another word like this term, this is a prefix, so it's not stressed. When we have a word like pretend, this is a prefix, so it's not stressed. We stress the second syllable. So if a word, a bisyllabic English word begins with a prefix, we must stress the second syllable, because the first syllable that is a prefix is almost always unstressed. That's how prefixes affect stress. Then let's look at how suffixes affect stress. Now we have also a rule that the first rule is words that end in IC, IAN, IAL, ION, EOUS, these words are always stressed on the second syllable from the end of the word. Let's take a look at the word economic. Now you see that we begin to number from the end, and so this is the second syllable to the end of the word. So it becomes economic. That's the way it is. If you have other examples of English words that end in IC, like mathematics, politics, you know, then you have other words. Here you have a word like musician, you know, politician. Now if you have a word like adverbial, you can see the second, always second from the end. Then you have the word education. 1, 2, 3, 4. Always the second to the end of the word. Now if you have the word right, of course this is 2 syllables, but the first, that's the second from the first, is stressed. So, or let's look at the one that has more than 2 syllables. The word content. You can see it. Syllable 1, 2, 3. Always second syllable from the end of the word. Contentious. So that's exactly the way these 3 basic factors affect stress. And so we have been talking about 3 secrets of mastering English stress. If you master these 3 basic factors that determine stress placement in English, you are on your way to mastering English stress. And that gives you the foundation for understanding how English stress works. In our next video lesson, we shall be looking at various rules of stress placement in English. But this is where we draw the curtain in today's video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Remain blessed and stay safe. See you in the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Click on the subscribe button so you will be notified as soon as a new video is uploaded. Once again, I wish you well. Bye bye for now.